When I select a class in the class list, if it is configured to record attendance, the attendance screen displays. For those classes that are not set up to record attendance, it defaults to the gradebook or whatever one of these options is the first to be listed for the teacher based on their security permissions. So I'll go back and select my Algebra 2 class and select attendance. You notice it stayed on gradebook because that's where I was on the last class I had selected. Now, you'll see, again, the day does not fall within any term range. That's because the current date is not within my quarter 4 term date range. Here are all my students. Many schools elect to only let their teachers record attendance for whatever the current date is. So when you're doing this training, you may or may not be able to record attendance if you have some other date selected. That's based on your security permissions and how your school is configured. Since I am an administrator, I can record attendance for a different day other than the current date. You'll notice my attendance codes may not be the same as yours. These are what's set up in my demonstration database. To mark Bobby as tardy, I can select my tardy code and click in the code 1 column for him. Let's see, Joanna and Tammy are both absent. If I know why Bobby was tardy, I can either type a comment by clicking in this comment field, or if my school has some already pre-configured, I can select that comment in the attendance comments list. To toggle this list back off, all I have to do is click this icon. That's an on and off toggle. Okay. Now, if everyone else is present in the class, I can click Fill Code. It defaults to present. If for some reason I want to overwrite existing codes, say I've marked one student tardy, meanwhile they walked in, or marked a student absent and they've walked into class and I want to go ahead and fill everybody present, I can select this Overwrite Existing Codes. I'm going to leave it cleared right now so you can see my tardy and 2 absences that they recorded. So I'll click Fill, and present is filled for all of my remaining students. For some reason, I need to clear either my attendance or my comments. I can click this X, which is the clear icon, and then select either clear all codes or clear comments or clear both of them. So if I want to clear my comments, I'll make that selection and click Apply, and you see the doctor's appointment has been cleared out. Within the attendance screen, I have other views I can select. For instance, if I want to see attendance for a week or a month at a time, I can scroll and see all of my attendance marks to see if there's a pattern for, maybe one student has been tardy a lot. You also have the option to work in a seating chart screen. You'll notice I just hid that class list, collapsed it so that I have more room to work. So I could add rows and a number of seats for each row. And then I click Save, and I can add students to this seating chart. You can see how easy it is to assign them just by selecting one and putting them in a seat. Now, if Tommy and Jason don't need to sit, if Tommy doesn't need to sit behind Jason, all I have to do is I can then assign him to a different seat. You'll see that displaced Bobby, and then I can put Bobby in another seat. I can also just select a student and assign them another seat, and that actually swaps the two students. So there's two different ways you can do it. You can either send them back to the list to free up that seat, move a kid to a different seat, and then reassign them, or you can just select the student and swap seats with another student. To save this seating chart, click the Edit pencil icon, and now I'm all set to record attendance based on the seating chart. So let's see what that looks like. I'll select a different day, and you see now I have add code. So I'll say Dave is absent. Select my tardy code. Bobby and Monty are tardy, and then I'll fill present for the remaining students. Sadly, my database does not have any student pictures in it. If I had student pictures loaded to this demonstration database, they would appear here on the seating chart. You'll notice a reports icon here. I have the option to print one or more of these reports. I can select all four of them and click open, and you will see them display in different tabs in my internet browser window. So let's start with the seating chart. This was obviously the seating chart with pictures. If I had student pictures loaded, they would appear here. This would be helpful, especially to a substitute who may not be familiar with your students and where they are supposed to sit. This is a seating chart without student pictures. We have the excessive absent tardy for the class. So this allows us to display absences or tardies based on whatever kind of thresholds I want to set. So if I say absent or tardy, I can select who has been absent only greater than maybe one time. I can select whether I'm just looking for excused or unexcused absences, or all absences, be they excused or unexcused. So if I say, I'm going to say one absence, I can select a custom time frame. So if I want to select just today's date, or I can select for term 4, I can select for the whole year, or I can select whatever date range I want. And I select print, and I see I have 3 students who have been absent 2 times each. The last report I wanted to show you was the class attendance print grid. This is especially helpful if you have a substitute again and they are not set up to be able to record attendance in RenWeb 1. You could print this, leave it on your desk for them to be able to write the attendance codes in to send to the office to an attendance clerk. So if you're just going to be out for one day, you can select that day before you click print, and it will display, and these would be available for someone to fill in. If you're going to be out for more than one day, you can select the week option and click submit, print that, leave that on your desk. And that is it for attendance.